Welcome back to the Pitch Pod. My name is Joe Janner. With me, my co-host, as always, Jeff Stebbins. How you doing, Jeff?
Doing great, Joe. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking Champions League with you today, and looking forward to the conversation.
Well, right on. Yes, that's where we're getting to. These semifinals of the Champions League. 4 quality teams left, playing off to determine who goes through to the final. Before we go there, I just think it's worth mentioning, Jeff, you correctly predicted in our last episode that Sporting would draw. And now it was a 3-3 draw, but you said 2-2. So congratulations to you. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Yeah, they drew with St. Louis, and that puts me up 3 points. I believe I'm currently sitting at 34 to your 30 points for season 4. Is that correct, Joe?
That is correct. Yes. Still close. I mean, we're both in it here as we go through, and we'll be looking forward to the results. So this next upcoming match, I'll get right into it. Is it okay if I introduce these 2 matches, or did you want to go ahead and introduce these 2 matches?
I want you to introduce them, but now you got me thinking of the previous match that we talked about, and I'm still a little bitter about the outcome there. Yes, I predicted it correctly, but don't get me going on that game. Let's move on. Let's go to Champions League.
No, wait. You can't put it out there. Just not talk about what you're upset about or what's. Go ahead.
Wow.
This is the right. The pitch pod is a safe place for talking about football nightmares and dreams. But I mean, if something, this is the place, man.
Well, I guess that's true. It is a safe place. I don't know. Was it a 92nd minute goal from St. Louis to tie the game, Joe? And that's hard to swallow when there's so many things you could do: formation, substitutions, milking the clock, and I don't want to go in depth because we talked about it last week, but man, that's a bitter pill to swallow when you're up on your main competitor, your rival, St. Louis, in 92nd minute. It's just tough to watch. I don't know. I imagine you probably had the same feelings.
In the sense that it's in-game management or the lack thereof. You're up a goal, and you have to. I mean, really, it's even before the game. It's in training. It's the build-up before that, and you're talking about some of these players being under the management for several years, and this is something that is basic in the sense that you have to understand the situation of the game. These are professionals, that have to understand the situation of the game without even, maybe you could say, put some of the management, put some of the players, put it on everybody in the sense that this is something that has to be understood. You have to know how to finish a game. In-game management is very important, and you're up, especially considering the previous results and knowing how important this was. You mentioned it against a rival. Finish the game. Do what you need to do. Make some change, whether it be through changes or as an individual player, understanding the importance of a situation where you need to defend to keep them from creating a chance. They get up on the right wing, and it was just too easy to get in and create that last goal to draw 3-3. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, you got to finish. You got to get those 3 points, and unfortunately, they didn't for them. But anyways, looking forward. Let's talk Champions League. Let's talk about something to look forward to here. So, Joe, kind of break it down. Who's in the semifinals?
This upcoming week in this Champions League semifinals, we got a Bayern versus Real Madrid and a Dortmund versus PSG. They're each respective leg one of these 2 matches. I mean, between the two, and we talked about it. These are the last 4 teams. These are all quality teams going into this competition. I'm looking at, though, I have some idea. I think let's start with Bayern versus Real Madrid and talk about that. I mean, first of all, I think it said it. This is Real Madrid's tournament. How do they? Maybe that's not the way to question it or phrase it, but they do get through in penalties to find themselves in this position. Again, a way to start. I don't know if that's a whole lot of a disadvantage for a strong side. It's got to be feeling confident where they are, not only in this competition, but also how they're sitting top of the table in the standings, right? in their own respective La Liga. So gotta think that Real Madrid's feeling pretty good. Do you think though Bayern? I mean, can do this? What are your thoughts on Bayern hosting this game to start?
I've been asking a lot of people on kind of how they're feeling, and a lot of people are kind of split on this one more so than the other one that we'll cover here in a moment. So I've got a lot of different responses, and it's kind of all over the board, but two very, very solid clubs, and Bayern sitting second in Bundesliga right now. They have Harry Kane, so they're looking strong. But like you said, it's Real Madrid's tournament. Vinicius Jr., Bellingham. I mean, this is the one that I'm most split on. The one I'm also looking the most forward to viewing for this upcoming week. So it's going to be a good match.
Well, I would agree. Between the two, if I'm honest and upfront, and had to pick one of the two matches I'm more excited about, right? Not to say that I'm not excited about both, but more excited would be this fixture, Bayern versus Real Madrid. I don't know if you said it. I mean, with Kane at home, I mean, a goal from him does anybody else show up? Does it lend itself to having more? Because it's going to take more than that. I'll go ahead. It's going to take more than Bayern scoring one goal in this game to
Yeah,
win.
I think there's definitely more goals in this game. I think we're going to definitely see more goals than just one or 1-0 or anything like that. But I guess Joe, who else should we be on the lookout for from Bayern specifically? I mean, Harry Kane, yes, but who else is there that's a potential threat for Real Madrid?
I mean, I think you look at the way that they're structured in a sense that they can have not necessarily aside from Harry Kane, but they have other role players, several players within their system that can contribute and help him be that top scoring dominant player. So I think that's what it's going to come down to is how does Real Madrid deal with all the other players that are in support of Harry Kane?
Right, right. And on Real Madrid side, I mean, it's just like an all-star lineup per usual. Nothing changes there, right? They always have a solid club, but Vinicius, as we've talked about, dangerous on the left-hand side, so fast, agile, dynamic. Bellingham, huge leg, up and coming star. They have some veteran players like Luca. Rodrigo is a solid player. So yeah, this I'm very excited for this one, and it's going to be a game that's going to challenge both sides. Bayern obviously has an advantage being at home, but that it's something to factor into the decision. But for me, it's not all of it for this one.
I mean, you've all but said it. It almost sounds like you've got Bayern winning.
Why don't you lead? I know what
That's
direction I want to go in. Why don't you go ahead and say, Joe?
sure. I will then go ahead and I got Real Madrid winning. I think they're a side that
Wow.
has shown can now travel away in an environment as challenging as going to Manchester City to play there to get the result when they need to do one way or the other. Why not start off the semifinals with getting a win?
Wow.
2-1 in this one.
That would be huge. Oh my gosh, that'd be huge. And you make a good point. They took down Man City. Why not take down Bayern Knicks? Yeah, I that would be a great game for them, and some huge momentum going into that second leg. So I could see that as a possibility. And I agree. I think there's multiple goals in this game. I think it's going to be close. In fact, I think it's going to be so close. I am predicting a 2-2 draw.
And okay, that I think that's fair if it goes along with what I suggested. Aside from Harry Kane showing up and knowing that there are supporting players within that squad that can also contribute on the attack at home, maybe maybe they do, maybe it is open in a sense, and there are multiple goals from both sides, and I could see that being a draw. I think, wow, maybe the question is of the two, who looks at that as being a better result? Does Real Madrid say, okay, well, we didn't quite get the win. We got the draw away. We know we get to go there. So I think for me, and I'll say it, if Bayern doesn't win, they're really putting themselves in a position to not fare well for the remainder, for the reverse fixture. So they got to go into this thing and they got to win. I really do. I mean, I didn't say that in the other bit or within my prediction, but and I don't know if they will. but I almost feel Bayern has to win this.
Agreed. Agreed. It's a big game. Big game for
Okay.
agreed.
Okay. We made our predictions on this one. Let's move to the next. Let's talk about Dortmund versus PSG. And I know at least one player, Jeff, that's going to be mentioned in this,
Yeah.
right? If we're talking about PSG. But I mean, it's, again, how to say it. These teams aren't at this point, for lack of talent or the lack of ability to perform and get results when needed. Dortmund is a good team, and here they are in the semifinals of the champ. I don't know if a lot of people would have picked them if you're going back to not only the last round or prior to that, or even maybe early on in the group stage, think that you have a Dortmund side here in the semifinals. That lends itself, again, having a bench. That's a tough place to play. Does Dortmund do enough to win, or are we going to talk about the guy I know you want to talk about, PSG? Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I will, but I'll start with this. It is a tough place to play. You said it. I mean, traveling there, playing in that huge stadium, it's a different game playing at that venue. So you do have to factor that in. Some things I do want to mention is right now Gio Reyna is out on loan for Dortmund, and so that's a key loss for them at the moment. He's with Nottingham Forest, but yeah, Dortmund, I do think they get overlooked in this competition. It's kind of funny, Joe. It was pointed out to me earlier today. They're actually on the verge of not qualifying for Champions League for next year, as they're sitting fifth in the Bundesliga right now.
Yes, that's right.
But they've shown, you can, don't count them out. They may be the underdogs, but they've made it this far to the semifinals to play against some of the best teams in the world. So, yeah, you can't count them out. And they have a variety of players that can be dangerous. On the other end, PSG, Mbappe, right? One of the best in the
There it
world.
is.
One of the best in the world. And really, I think, the other teams are so aware of him streaking in from that left side and using his speed that they're so focused on him that kind of opens up things for PSG's number 10, which is Dembele. And oh my God, he is dangerous also, scoring multiple goals in games. And so, yeah, between the two of them, I think this is another game that's going to have quite a few goals within it.
And I think we talked about this little. Maybe it's not that harsh, right? I mean, you talk, not to go back too far, but to go back to the previous result that got PSG here, right? Barcelona goes up 1-0. That puts them ahead. They're good to go. And then to give up 4 goals after that at home, wow. So that's, I mean, it's essentially showing you the quality or the determination, at the very least, of this PSG side going into this phase. Now, does it show up this next one? That's to be determined. That's part of what this is required. That's where they are. This in a semifinal, leg one, on the road to start. Can they get it done? I think for them, getting a result, whether it be a draw or going ahead and winning, it could be huge. I think, if I could, I almost say this. I think that's where I stand. I think that I see this one finishing 1-1 draw.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, you know what? And I think PSG would be happy with that too, to be honest, being at Dortmund. And PSG, they're kind of one of these teams where you don't know which version you're going to get. They're either going to be fantastic or mediocre. And in that venue, first leg, I could see them being not at their tops. And if they came out of that with a 1-1 draw, that'd be pretty good for the second leg going into that. And I do think it's going to be close, but to be honest, I think that PSG is going to take this one, and I think they're going to win by the smallest of margins, but they're still going to come away with the win first leg. I'm going to go 3-2 PSG winning this. If Mbappe's not scoring, Dembele's scoring. If Dembele's not scoring, Mbappe's scoring, or they're both scoring. But those two guys, they have shown how dangerous they are, and they work well as a tandem. So I'm expecting a lot of cross balls into the box, and that far post, it's going to be one of those two guys cleaning it up. So I'm excited, and that's my final prediction is PSG is going to win this first leg 3-2.
That would be an exciting match, as you mentioned, even to the detail of how those goals will be scored. I almost forgot. How could I? The last time these two faced each other, that was the Group F, the infamous Group F that we covered on the pitch pod. To have these now, here they are again in the semifinal. Wow, going back, I have right here December 13th, 2023. That's how they fit 1-1. I mean, not to make, I'm trying to make a point about my prediction, but that's just, I mean, let's go back and look at and replay the tape and see how that turned out, right? And see if it is going to be. But I mean, that's a lot of time in between, right? And that's fair. I think these teams, they're different teams than they were then. Not only how they competed throughout the rest of this competition, but within their respective leagues. So I'm looking, man, I almost said this maybe is one to be as excited about, if not more. But can I change my vote? Can I change the course here? I'm excited either way. I think we're both excited.
Hopefully, everyone out there gets a chance to tune in and enjoy the games. And we can't wait ourselves to watch. And please like, subscribe if you like the content. We have much more coming. Champions League is not over yet. Until next time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what we bring you here at the Pitch Pod, please do us a favor, hit that like and that subscribe. Don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Thank you, everyone, and keep pitching out there.
In a game, the round ball, round posts, anything can happen.